Thank you, Felicia. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Colleen Aversa with Liquitex, and I'll be your moderator today. Today, I'm joined by artist Marla Morrison, who will be instructing you on how to paint this wintry snow-capped evergreen tree. She's going to be using our heavy body acrylic paint and some flexible modeling paste. So as Felicia said, this class is being recorded. So if you feel like just hanging out with us today and watching, you want to paint another time, or if you feel like you missed something while painting along, you can always rewatch the class 24 to 48 hours at michaels.com/classes or Michaels YouTube. Also keep your eye on the chat throughout the class, as we'll be posting some links and information there that you might find helpful. And if you have any questions, just pop them on there. We'll do our best to get them answered for you. So with that said, please enjoy the class, everyone, and I'll hand it over to Lola.
Hey guys, thanks so much for sharing part of your day with me. And it's good to see how many people are from all over the place. Very cool. So I'm really looking forward to painting this rustic tree with you again today. I got to do it once. I'm looking forward to doing it again. So definitely, as Colleen said, if you have questions, please ask away and we can kind of spend time on whatever you're most interested in learning about with our materials. So I see that as one of my goals, is to, be as helpful as possible, but I also hope that this can be an inspiring time for you, that we're going to use these materials to make this tree, but also that it might spark things in you that you'll want to do on your own at another time. So let's get started and have fun. All right. Thanks, Felicia. Okay, so a couple things to show. If you are interested in other art demos and other information about Liquitex materials, this is a great Instagram site to follow, just at Liquitex Official. And then another neat source, artists like myself and others will do mini demos and like hour-long IG lives at this. This is TFA-CNA, which stands for the Fine Art Collective North America. And then lastly, this is me at Marla Morrison Art. I'd love to see what you're doing, and that way we can follow each other and share each other's art journey. Because, it's always great to have other people walking along this art process with you. And then lastly, at the end, we'll be sure and save some time so we can see what you guys have done if you choose to paint today. And if you do that, please tag me on Instagram and also the hashtags Make It with Michaels and Michaels Classes. This is a cool way to see how you guys have interpreted the project, and if you, just to see what you've done. And what's really cool too is I've seen some of the past students in classes. I've seen it on the Michaels site, and it's always fun to check that out. So just a little bit of info for you there. All right, this is the good old tree that we're going to do. And in order to, I'll keep it up here. I'll bring it back for reference. But if you're painting with us, you had the supply list. We talked about getting a 9x12 canvas. This is pre-primed. All that means regular canvas, if you were to make your own, it would be this kind of neutral buff color typically, and it's fabric, right? So a pre-primed canvas, that just means that it has something called gesso or primer on it, and it's traditionally white, which is great for if you're doing a snow scene like we're doing, because it's already prepping that surface for the acrylic and getting the right value for the painting. So this is a good way to get started. And then as Colleen says, we're using the heavy body Liquitex colors, only 3 of them. It's amazing what you can do with just 3 colors. And I just wanted to show a few things quickly before we get painting. This is the green of the tree. This is called Hooker's Green Deep Hue Permanent. Kind of a mouthful, right? A lot of different words in that title. But what's interesting is Hooker's Green it's named after the man who developed this Hooker's Green. William Hooker was a botanist and painter, and he mixed his own green that we have, history is named Hooker's Green. It was traditionally made of Prussian blue and a color called gamboge. Gamboge is made from a tree resin, which happens to be toxic. So we don't make it from that traditional mix any longer. But this is just a chance to mention that if you're curious about what pigments are used in your colors from Liquitex, we are very good about putting that information on the label, whether on the front or the back. I like how the new labels have it right in front. These 3 little groups of letter and number refer to the 3 pigments used in this Hooker's Green. PBK is pigment black number 7, PG7 is pigment green number 7, and then PY74 stands for pigment yellow 74. Now you might think, why is she bothering talking about this? This is kind of a little bit maybe more than I needed to know about this color. Honestly, I thought that too when I first started thinking about color this way. I was like, what does it matter? Well, to me, I think it's important to share this because I think the more you know about the materials you purchase, the more economical a process it can be. Because rather than doing what I used to do by just buying a color that's on sale or buying a color that has a fun name, I literally would do that, guys. If you know more about the pigments used, you can make better choices and only choose the colors that are really going to be valuable to your particular painting or process. So anyways, these three colors are not the traditional gamboge or Prussian blue, which is why you see the word hue. Whenever you see hue in a color, that's your, can you guys see that? Super tiny. Hue is your cue that this is a new mix that's replacing an old mix. Maybe the old mix is toxic or the pigment's not available any longer, but lots of different colors you may see will have this word hue. That's all that means. Okay, so maybe that's too much on that, but I do think it's fun to I get into that history a little bit. Last thing to show on the labeling, S1, this is our series number. Series 1 is our least costly color. And the little black square shows that this is a naturally opaque color. If you were to see a white outline on the label, that would say that it's a naturally transparent color. Why does this matter? Well, since we're doing this impasto painting, it's nice to have opaque colors because it's a lot easier to paint over what's underneath and cover the color below. If you were doing something called glazing, where you need transparency, it's good to know that in the colors you choose. Okay, and then we also have our permanence rating shown by this little sun. There's a Roman numeral 1 in it. That tells you this is a light fastness 1 rated color. It's our most permanent color. And all three of the ones we're using today are light fastness 1. That just tells you that the colors are going to last 100 years or more in museum conditions, which really just means in a protected environment. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of info to put in your back pocket there and just have to take with you. So these are the three colors that we're going to use. And we're also going to mix it with this medium called Flexible Modeling Paste. This is really cool stuff. I had used modeling paste for all sorts of reasons. The regular modeling paste, it doesn't have that word flexible in front. A traditional modeling paste, when it dries, it's rigid and hard, almost like marble or rock or stone. And, you know, that has its purposes for sure. But the nice thing about flexible modeling paste is it's quite nice on a flexible surface. Like, I don't know how I can show the flexibility really. Maybe I'll give a shadow. There you go. See how that canvas can flex and move? It's good to have, if you want a texture that can kind of roll with those punches of flexibility, it's good if it's one that can do that, that it's not going to dry completely rigid and hard when you're done. So that's what we're going to be mixing with our color to get that lovely thick texture. All right, so let's get painting. We're going to start with the white background and just a little bit of the Mars black to give this kind of snowdrift feel. We'll start with the background and then we'll add in this texture actually at the end after our tree is painted. Okay, so if you're painting with me, I have my 1-inch paddle brush that I use a lot. I like how close my hand can be to the surface with it on a large scale brush. So I use it quite a bit. And you can see it's well loved by my stained bristles. But I'm going to take the titanium white, squeeze it out. And you know what, I probably need a little bit more than that. We're going to use a bit of a dry brush technique because we don't want this too thick and juicy because we're going to paint this in one session. So even though, yes, the white blends into the tree to get some of that lovely value and color change, I don't want it to be too juicy in the back. So we're going to do a little bit of a drier brush technique. Now I'll take the Mars black and squeeze some out here. Move it over so you can see that better. All right, and scooch my stool over a little bit. Okay, so just take your brush, and again, it has not been dipped in water, and I'm just going to dip it directly into my titanium white, and I'm going to paint on this white surface. You might say, why bother doing that? Why not just leave that white primed background? Well, if you could see, I don't know. Yeah, I guess you can see how that is. First of all, that white isn't as bright of a white as my titanium white. So that's part of it. But also there's something to be said about getting that fresh, wet color down when it comes to blending another color in it. Because now I'm going to take a pause and dip a little bit of my black. You don't need much. And we're going to just feather in some of those kind of snowdrift passages. Okay. Now, and I'm fine with the fact that now I have a little bit of black on my brush, because now as I go, it's going to do that a little bit naturally. It's not going to be so stark. I'm going to have a little bit of natural gray in it as I'm painting, and then I can always add more. So again, I'm putting this down. Doesn't take a lot of time, just stroking it out evenly and not getting it too slippery and juicy. I just want to kind of, the other way to do that too, if you want a thin layer of paint, is really bear down with the brush and almost think of it like you're kind of scrubbing it into the surface. Not like you're doing a Van Gogh kind of thick and juicy application. You're just kind of digging it into the fibers of that canvas. So I'll take a pause and take a little bit more of that black and just kind of feather that in. Because it's going on that wet white, that gray blends nicely and quickly. And even though we're covering a lot of this with the tree, I think it just makes sense to do the whole surface for consistency's sake. So we'll keep painting. Get all the way down to the bottom here. And again, I'm not using a lot of color. I mean, I did use that full, I guess, tablespoon amount of color I squeezed out, but it's brushed on fairly thin. Okay, I'm just, again, kind of grinding it into that canvas surface and take another little tiny dab of black. And maybe I use the side of my brush this time. And if I feel like an area has gotten too dark, you just paint over it with a little bit more of the white. And again, just follow that down the paint. So super quick and easy here. Are you guys with me? Any questions so far? Doing good? Okay.
Looks like everybody's doing good. It's quiet.
Awesome. Okay. So I may go over it a little bit more, partly to remove any excess paint, again, in the interest of time, so we can paint this in one setting without getting it mixing up the background too much with our tree. And one thing I thought we could do too is, while this is getting touch dry, we'll be mixing our other colors. So that will help a bit too. So I don't know if you can see, there's not a huge reflection on this. And that's because it's fairly dry, in the sense that it's, again, I keep saying over and over, but it's really just kind of a razor thin layer of that paint on that pre-prime canvas. Okay. So we'll let that get a little more touch dry, and I will take a towel and just wipe out my brush first. This is a trick, which I don't know if I've talked about before, but you know how your wash water can get sullied up really quickly? One way to help minimize that is to wipe your brush on a paper towel or a rag that you use all the time, and get a lot of that paint off first, and then, put it in your wash water to clean it. That's also a nice way to help with paint disposal. You're not getting quite so much paint in your wash water that later needs to be disposed of. You're wiping a lot of it out onto your paper towel, which then will dry, and you can just process it with your other trash, as it becomes dry and it won't get into the wash water, or to the well water, I should say. All right, so cleaned off my brush. And now we'll take that flexible modeling paste. And I mentioned that it is definitely flexible and dry. When you see it out of the container, it's shiny and it looks very white, and it is. When you take it out, it's very kind of a bright white. And so there is marble dust in this as well, but the formulation is such where when it's dry, it will retain some flexibility. Okay. So we're going to mix up a good amount of this flexible modeling paste with both the Hooker's green and the titanium white. Okay. So let's try, that's 1 scoop. I'm just using my palette knife. Whatever palette knife you have should be fine for this. And I'm probably going to mix more than I need, because especially when I'm showing you guys how I did it, I don't want to have to stop if I can help it to mix more color. So that's about 3 scoops of the flexible modeling paste. for the green. Maybe I'll do like a half more. Do like 3.5 dips of my palette knife into that. And then for the white, because we're going to put the white snow cap on top, and we're actually going to, even though the flexible modeling paste is white on its own, we're still going to mix it with the titanium white to make sure it looks bright and more like snow. Flexible modeling paste, I don't know if you can tell, it is white, but it's a slight softer, kind of more gray tone than titanium white is. So we'll put that there, and we'll probably do, let's do 3 scoops of that as well. Because again, what's going to happen is as we layer this, we're going to naturally blend the green with the white, which gives that nice gradation of color. But sometimes you have to paint over something if you lose it with the wrong, you know what I mean? Like if you put the white down and it's too stark, you may want to paint over it with more green and so on. So you'll see what I'm saying. That's why we want to have plenty of color. All right. So now let me push up my sleeves quickly here. And I will take the Hooker's Green Deep Hue Permanent. This is a color that I hadn't used a lot actually in my own practice, but it's really, I really am appreciating it. It's a very deep, rich green, and it almost skews black, if you'll notice, especially probably on the screen. I don't know if you can tell how in the color right out of the tube, or what you call the mass tone, it looks almost identical to the Mars Black up there. And that's something that can, I think, be a little confusing for artists too when they're starting out, is the color out of the tube can sometimes look quite different than it does in a thin layer. And that's the case with Hooker's Green. If I were just to have this big glob of paint on a painting, it would almost look black. It's not going to give as much as of that green kind of tone. So be aware that colors can look one way thick and another way thin. All right. Or if you mix it with white. So here I'm going to mix this. That was probably what, maybe 1.5 teaspoons of Hooker's Green. And we'll mix it into that large amount of flexible modeling paste.
Hey, Marla, just to chime in real quick while you're mixing, sure. There is a question, what is the difference between modeling paste and the heavy gel?
And heavy gels. Okay, so yeah. Heavy gel, one of the biggest differences, like if you had a gloss super heavy gel or something like that, there is no marble dust in it. So a heavy gel is going to be clear and more transparent, even in a thick layer. The flexible modeling paste gives you that more opacity and a bit more, in my experience, it holds the peaks and valleys or ridges or knife stroke to a more defined degree than a gel typically will. And I think that has, I'm not a chemist, but I think that has to do with the fact that when a gel dries, there's some shrinkage because the water in the gel, when it evaporates, and we call that drying, that water leaves it, you know, the volume of that water leaves the gel and it shrinks a little bit. I think because the flexible modeling paste has marble dust, and yes, it does have water, but I've just noticed it doesn't shrink to the same degree as a gel can. So that's another difference too. But if you don't have the modeling paste, you can certainly do this project with a gel. It just is going to look a little bit different. Okay. It's going to be, your green might be more transparent because the more gel you add to a color, even if the gel is naturally, even if your color like this Hooker's Green is naturally opaque, adding a lot of a gel to it will make it more transparent. But again, if that's what you have and you want to paint, you can certainly make a tree with that gel. It just won't look quite exactly the same. I hope that helps. Okay. So you'll notice that white flexible modeling paste tinted that dark green a bit. And that will stay, it's going to darken down a little bit because again, that flexible modeling paste does have water in it. And so when the water leaves, the color deepens down a little bit. So be aware of that. And now we're going to mix white into our titanium white here. And I'll do about the same volume, probably about 1 teaspoon of white. And this is harder to tell because when you mix it in, it's, you know, it just looks like a whole bunch of white. But again, I like to add the titanium because it just gives a brighter snowdrift feel to it. Anyone thinking about baking and frosting right now? It's It's one of my favorite parts of mixing these colors is that thick frosting.
My daughter just turned 5 yesterday, so we had cake yesterday. So this is
nice.
Last night.
You want to decorate her own cake, or did y'all make a cake or buy a cake? Or
I usually do. I'm pretty good. Last year I did 2 cakes. I did a Barbie for her with like a rainbow skirt, and then she wanted Elsa and Anna talking to Barbie on another cake. So she's very particular about the kind of cake she likes. So, but this year it was like too much going on, so we ordered, but just as cute.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, if she's like my niece loves baking, and so she makes her own frosting now, and it's divine. So I definitely, this is nice. I don't bake as much, but I feel like I get some of that frosting fix, and I, because I shouldn't eat cake as much, but I get that frosting fix with the painting. So it's a good way to have the best of both worlds. All right, so now we've got these large amounts of the green and the titanium white mixed up. And let's give a little check to our surface here. So I'm just going to take my finger and dab it. If I press hard, I'm going to pick up color, but like that. But you know what? This is touch dry enough where we can certainly layer over it. So hopefully wherever you are, it's going to be, it doesn't have to be bone dry. It can just be not slippery, juicy. It would be better. Okay. One thing to say too, like if I don't want to annoy you guys with the sound, but I have like a little embossing tool in my studio. So I could, if I were trying to rush a project and I didn't care about making a lot of noise, I could use my embossing tool, keep it about it was like a heat gun, right? Not like or a hair dryer would work too, but something that has soft, dry heat. You can keep it like a foot away from the surface and just blow dry it on the surface. And that will help dry that base of the painting. Okay. So palette knives, this is going to be important for creating the branches of the tree. When I made this one, I actually used this more rounded tip knife. And then I discovered I have this more pointed tip knife. So I might experiment with both to see the different kind of branch tips you can get. Whatever knife you have, the rounded, whether it's rounded or more sharply pointed, that's going to be somewhat evident in the way you paint. So just be aware of that too. That kind of gives you your own, handwriting, so to speak, on your brush stroke with a tool that you use. So I'll probably use both of these just to see how they work together. All right, as we're mapping out the tree, the way I started it is I started at the bottom and worked towards the top. Now, I can't remember if I may end up turning it at some point to work this way to make it a little easier. So don't be afraid to turn your canvas as needed when you're working, okay? All right, so let's scoop up some of the green. And probably because I'm right-handed, I'm just going to start on this side. And I'm just going to eyeball. Can you see my finger over here? I'm going to eyeball. I'm going to think of this as the lower third of my painting. And I want that lowest branch to be right about here. So I'm just kind of eyeballing this, guys. It's not, super scientific. But I'm just going to start bringing my branches from the edge to the center. And I'm using a decent amount of this mix. Gosh, I'd say that the ridges are about an 1/8 inch thick. Like the ridge here is like about an 1/8 inch thick or so. And what's nice about that? It's going to dry pretty darn close to that texture and thickness. And so we're really just kind of quickly roughing in the external shape. I may not even, fill every gap. I just kind of want to get it blocked in. And then I can work on more detailing. And I'm eyeballing here in my head. I'm thinking, okay, here's the center. I want the tip to be up there. So maybe I need to extend this one a bit and not get to the cone part so quickly. And it's okay to have, when you think of an evergreen, the branches go in and out, right? It's not like you could make a perfect triangle one, but we wanted to be a little rustic, a little more naturalistic. So we're going to have it a little variation with that. And then when I get to the center here, I'm going to switch palette knives. I'm going to try my more pointy palette knife. But again, you can use whichever one you have. I'm showing this so you can be aware of that as you paint later. If I want a little bit more pointy top, I can use my more pointy palette knife, right? And get that edge there. Not that you can't do it with rounded. I just wanted to kind of play with that. All right, now I can start roughing in the shape more. And here's where I'm going to turn my canvas around just to help me out filling in the other side. So start over here. I'm kind of eyeballing where I want that other lower branch to be. And it's so quick and easy. Just all of a sudden you have this skeleton of a tree coming together. And that's one of the beauty parts, I think, too, of this impasto painting with heavy body color, is it was especially mixed with the flexible modeling paste. It covers so nicely, and you get that painterly feel with the knife stroke. You know, I'm not having to do a lot of work to just get that really nice texture that goes with the idea of tree branches. Okay. All right, so now if I feel like that's a little too conical, so I'm going to extend this branch here, and maybe I'll twist my knife around and maybe extend one up here. Again, feel free to turn your canvas if that's easier. My daughter is way more ambidextrous than me, so she probably could just use her. She's left-handed, but she uses both hands pretty equally, so. If you're ambidextrous like that, then go for it. I have to kind of contort my wrist around to get my right hand to do it. But now I'm going to look at the, let's look at the bottom here. Let's go ahead and pause, and we're going to do the trunk now. So I'll just wipe some of this off on a paper towel. And if I remember correctly, I don't think I added any flexible modeling paste to my black. I'm pretty sure I just used it right out of the tube. And so that's what we'll do again today. And I want to paint it in now because I want to be able to cover the part of it with the green. So we'll just dab it in right about there. And if you don't get the shape you want exactly, you can also always go around it again with the white at the end. I'm going to check to see if I got that kind of centered. Probably could have gone to the left a little bit. So maybe I will do that and then I'll correct it on the other side. Yeah, so the trunk is actually just black. And now I'm going to wipe that off and we'll go back to the green. I'm going to fill in some more of my branches here. Now I might start filling in the center. And I'm going to have some come down here to integrate that trunk with the rest of the tree. All right. And who has their tree up if they celebrate Christmas? Anybody have their Christmas tree up yet? Because I can't look at my rustic tree and not think of a Christmas tree.
Oh, that's a good question, because there are it's either like you're a person that decorates before Thanksgiving or after. I feel like, you know.
I can't help it. I tend to be more of an after, like right after, just because I like giving fall its due and I like Thanksgiving a lot. And so, but it has been interesting seeing a lot more lights, and I think someone celebrated Diwali in our neighborhood, and I don't know a lot about that tradition, but there were lights up for that. So the holidays, love seeing all the stuff. Okay.
Oh, Carol in the chat is putting hers up this weekend, her tree.
Ah, okay. Nice. Do you do multicolor lights or clear lights? What do you do? We do multicolor.
I go for the clear lights. We actually do two trees. We do a kid's tree, and we do like our tree in the living room. So we decorate our tree nice in the living room, and then the kids get to decorate theirs.
Oh, nice.
All their fun ornaments. They pick out one every year, and yeah, we kind of make it like a fun zone for them. So
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, we when we had a cat, I loved occasionally finding the cat in the tree. But we don't have a cat right now. But yeah, we have one kiddo. He still has an issue with ornaments on trees. So it's always, they have these really nice, if you have really fragile ornaments, they have little ornament clips now. I don't know if you guys have seen those. And oh my gosh, I feel so much better with the security of some of my more special ornaments on the tree with those little ornament clips. So lots of good things for kids and Christmas trees. I like the idea of your kids having their own to kind of take ownership of. All right, so really I'm just going in with the green, kind of filling it out the way I think looks nicely. And again, you can kind of think frosting or layering or however you want to do it. But when you look at a tree in person, you know, see, it's like all the branches, I guess the way it's, well, I don't know how to explain all that, but we all know from looking at an evergreen, the branches kind of are weighed down and almost like layers on a dress, right? And so those pine branches just kind of lay down on each other. And that's just kind of how I think about doing the knife strokes as well. So now I'm not really going to even clean my knife. I'm just going to wipe off the green, because now we'll start adding some white. I said I was going to clean it. I did that out of reflex. So I guess I am going to clean it. So yeah, that was just total reflex. But I'll take my white now and take about this much. I mean, you want it to, I guess, what would you say? That's a good dollop of white. And you'll experiment based on what you're doing, based on how much or how little white you need to add in a section. But again, I'm starting at the bottom. And obviously I want to I'm imagining what a freshly laid sprinkling of snow or drift of snow might look like on the branch. So I'll just kind of dab that in. Now look at how that fresh dab is pretty stark white compared to what I have here. We'll work with that in a bit. So don't let that startle you. Don't have to try and fix that right this second. But notice too, when I dab that white on the green, now I've got green on my knife, kind of like that. What was that old commercial with Reese's peanut butter cups? You got chocolate, my peanut butter, my chocolate, whatever that was. But it's the same idea. Even though this was a thick layer of paint, I still drug up some of the green underneath. I'm going to be okay with that. I'm going to pick up my white on top of it. Okay. And now I'm going to do another stroke here. And you can see how that starts to just naturally begin to blend my green and white, yet still keep the snow feel. Now, if I feel like now, okay, maybe I have too much green, all I do now is I just kind of wipe it off. Oh, here, let me show you. All I did was I just wiped it off on my palette paper, okay? So now I'll start with fresh white. Still has a little green in it, that's okay. And maybe that's too much. And we'll just start at the tip and work inwards. And I can go over it if I want. And you see how that kind of blended the green? To me, this is super zen, relaxing. I'm just kind of laying that white down on top of that green and giving that illusion of snow falling off. That's fallen on that beautiful tree. So come back down. You'll notice I jump around too. I think that's just how I work. Just kind of look at what needs something and then add it. I'm still kind of just starting on the left side again, because I'm a righty and I'm focusing on one side. But here I'm going to wipe some of that green off. And now I'm going to maybe take some of this white here and just add a little more definition to that snowdrift or snow collection. Now, remember I said this was super stark white, not to worry about it. Now I can take this and layer on it. And I've just added a little tiny amount of that hooker's green onto that branch. So again, here, and I feel like I don't want that much green. So it's just a matter of going back and forth between layering the white on top of the green, checking your knife, deciding how much white you want down for what kind of effect you want. We'll do another little dab here.
And while Marla's painting, we just wanted to mention, if you go on social media and you're painting along with us today, we love to see what you guys do with us. So I threw some tags in the chat, but if you could just use hashtag make it with Michaels, hashtag make art with Michaels, and then also please tag Marla at Marla Morrison Art, and you can tag Liquitex Official. Yeah, we love to see what you do. And you can always have a shot at being picked up by Michaels, and they will sometimes feature some of these arts in their UGC gallery on their emails.
Yeah, and that's super fun when you see your work. Like, oh, cool. So, see, that's something that, so you got me on a whole different subject, Colleen, but so just steer me off of it if I digress too much. But that's something that I've really appreciated about classes like this, or the world of social media in general, is it's a way to share what you've been doing. And it's just, I told my husband I was getting tired of making pieces and just feeling like, yeah, my family would see it or whatnot, but didn't really have a great avenue for other people to see it. And it's not just about selling it. I just like getting other eyes on it, you know, because I feel like if we're here in a class like this, we feel driven to create, right? We want to make something, and there's a reason probably that we feel that way. And so for me, the other part of that was I like sharing what I'm doing with others. And so having the opportunities to post things on social media, you know, I've never had a bad experience with people saying rude things or anything like that at this point. So that's nice, but it's just cool that other people get their eyes on your work, and you know, maybe they don't even say anything, but I just feel like it's a way that my work has more of a life than it did when I just would make it and keep it in my studio. So
yeah, you're reaching a broader audience also, and you sort of make online friends with people you might not have ever come across in your life.
Yes, and sharing ideas. Oh my gosh, I love seeing other artists work and seeing how they approach different process for things. And it's like a giant classroom now, thanks to social media and classes like this at Michael's. We all can just, Michael's says, I think I might have said this, I wish I had more time to take more of the Michael's classes myself, because so many cool things I want to try. All right, so let's see how we're doing. So I've got quite a bit of snow effect. I think what I want to do now is I want to bring back some of my green to soften that a little bit. So it's like a back and forth kind of process, right? And I think now I'm going to try that other palette knife. Again, if you don't have two to experiment with, don't worry about that. This is just me kind of wanting to see what this other knife can do. So I think I need a little bit more. I need a slightly wonky little jutting out of a branch there. So I'm just dipping in the green now, and I'm going over some of those white passages just because I want to soften a little bit of that snow effect. Okay, so maybe you love all the snow and you don't want to do that. That's totally fine. So I might come in here and just add right on top of that. And add here. And how about here? This is the part where it's just like listening or looking at what the painting's telling you and deciding to change it if you want, or leave it, depending on your vision for your tree, how it looks the best to you.
Yeah, and originally we started off with the version Marla had done for us that had red berries on it. So we just wanted to keep it a little more wintry and less a holiday. But if you wanted to add, you could add little bits of red on here for a holiday feel.
Totally. Yep. That would definitely give you a different look. Put a little snowbird on it somewhere. I love birds and trees and things like that. So embellish.
Oh yes, Gail said she'd love to add a cardinal on one of the branches. That would be beautiful.
That would be gorgeous.
In fact, I think Windsor Newton may have a cardinal class.
Oh, really? Nice. Nice. Okay, so just keep kind of looking at it and adjusting as I want here. And let's see. Okay. Let's take a look at the original now. It's funny. I've done enough of these now. It's just funny. And Colleen had the best way of saying it, you know, different day, different painting. So even though I want it to be exact, or I'm trying to get as close as possible, it's the beauty of the medium. It's not, and also the person doing it, right? You guys each have your own distinct style and it'll come out. And it's really hard to duplicate exactly what you did before, but you can definitely see it's the same kind of spirit here. The strokes are a little different or whatnot, but I think we're pretty much on target with what I was going for here. I think maybe I'll redefine this point at the top a little bit. So to do that, I'll just come in with some green and just kind of gently place that in. There we go. And I want another little bit of definition here. Here. Soften that there. I'm just turning it all over the place now, but okay. So now let's take a break from that. We can still make it more adjustments if you'd like, but let's work on the snow, kind of more of the snow drift part here. So in order to do that, we'll squeeze out a little bit more of the white, like about a little less than a teaspoon. And we've got enough black. And I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little bit of texture that I think I actually did add a little bit of modeling paste. So let's do that real quick. So we'll add some more flexible modeling paste to the white. Okay. About another, let's say, teaspoon size amount. And just mix that together. And the good thing, you probably already gathered it from the way I'm doing here, but with acrylics, you don't have to worry about, I've got to use this much color to this much medium. So I can add as much or as little white to that flexible modeling paste as I want. Obviously, if I used a ton of paint and a little dab of flexible modeling paste, I'm not going to get the flexing, quite the attributes I might want. But chemically, there's no reason I couldn't do that. Also, I could use the flexible modeling paste all on its own. But like I said, I wanted to make sure that white is in there to make it a little bit brighter kind of feel. So I'm going to take that brush again and dip it in my thicker texture white. And again, I was kind of imagining the lower third of the surface. So I'll just kind of dab in some of that texture. Now on this trunk, I want to, for all practical purposes, kind of erase a little blip I made. And two, if you wanted to, you can feather in the white on top of it just to integrate it into the surface a little bit better, so it doesn't look like that trunk is just stuck on. You know how that can sometimes happen? I want to make sure it looks like it's part of the whole piece. So just by kind of feathering around the trunk and then taking that black or the gray that is picked up on the brush, that's a way you can kind of integrate it into that snow surface. And again, I'm going up about the lower third of the painting here. So I'm building up the texture with the flexible modeling paste in white. And then I'll add a little bit. I want to use all of that. I want to get some nice snowy texture here. And there was a little bit of black in there, and I can add a little bit more if I want. The black is just to, give it a little bit of dimension and depth, because we have, in order to see that, we have to see the concept of shadows. So it's not dirty snow. It's just, that's the shadows that we're seeing on the light. So I'll add a little more black to get it a little closer to the original.
Very cool how it just automatically gives it some dimension and some realness.
Yeah, it's like it's just part of the surface now. Okay. So just kind of feather that in. So this is definitely not what I'd call dry brush because it's so thick, right? And that's fine because I don't plan on putting anything on top of this right away. And if you want to think of it as like kind of, you know, little mounds of snow or something like that, you certainly can, however you like thinking of it. And I even may take some of that up a little bit. Now, if this has gotten a little bit dark for me, so I think I might just add a little more white to the surface. I'll wipe off my brush. I'm going to squeeze out just a touch more white. And I'll mix it with just a touch more flexible modeling paste. See, that's what happens. I didn't quite mix enough. No biggie, just mix it again. So that's about a 1-to-1 ratio of white to modeling paste there. Just want to make sure that I have enough. And just like that, mix it together. Take my brush again, and now just loosely and thickly brush it in on top of that gray. And yeah, that really kind of makes it pop, as you say. Grounds it in its environment, makes it part of the landscape. Okay. All right, let's take a step back visually and see what we think of it now. Okay. I think I'm going to extend the lower branches just a little, make it a little bit, have a little bit sturdier base, so to speak. So I'll add some green. And I'll extend that out a little. And then I'll put another one here. So that's the other beauty part of it too. I mean, this is just endlessly changeable. Well, even when acrylic's dry, like say you did this and it was completely dry, which by the way, this painting will be touch dry by tomorrow, most likely. Even in the thick passages, the surface of the paint will be touch dry, but it won't be completely dry for, gosh, like if you were shipping it somewhere, you'd want to make sure it had a week or two to fully dry, okay? Especially if it's humid where you live, because acrylics in a thick layer need enough time for that water to evaporate. But what was I going to say? I got myself off track. Oh, so say you've done this painting, it's fully dry, and you're like, oh man, I want to add that cardinal, or I want to add the berries, or whatever it is. The cool thing is there's nothing you have to do to the surface. You can just put the red berries or put the cardinal on top of it with fresh acrylic paint. So that's another thing I love about acrylics, is that they're so user-friendly that you can add things at different dates. It's not going to affect how the painting, it's not going to affect its longevity in any way. Okay.
Real quick, I just wanted to chime in and let everybody know that tomorrow you'll be getting a survey for the class in your email. Please, if you have time, fill it out for us. Let us know how much you love the class, and in the comments, if there's anything you would love to see from Marla in the future. We're always, looking for ideas and inspiration. So, and we want to give you guys, an opportunity to say what you would like to see. So don't be shy, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Okay. Well, I can keep playing with this endlessly, but I think now I would really love to see what you guys have done. If you're ready to show it, I'll clear this off. I'll go ahead and clean my palette knife real quick. I'll try to not be too slobby here. So I'll clean that off. I'm going to move my wet palette, and I'll put these two together. So yeah, let me see what you guys.
Yeah, if you guys want to turn your cameras on and hold your artwork up, Claudia, that looks beautiful.
So I need to go to gallery view to see you guys.
Gallery view. Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Oh, Barbara, very nice.
Very cool. Ooh, very snowy, Barbara. I like that. Claudia, ooh, Marianne, that's very cool interpretation of it. Mono, oh man, nice. Nice. Anyone else got? Oh, I should never touch my screen doing this. Very nice. Oh, thank
Oh,
you so
very
much for sharing.
cool.
Love it. So you guys, anyone going to keep this or are you going to give it as a gift? Curious on that.
Oh, that's a good idea. It's a gift.
Cardinals, yes. Back to the Cardinals would be really nice on here. Oh goodness. Okay, there we go. Keep it and do another as a gift. That's a good idea. Yes, you now have all the tools you need and should have plenty of paint left to do that. Yeah.
And you'll have the video replay so you can go back and watch Marla all over again. Pause her and
yeah, my kids would like to do that, that's for sure. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's so sweet.
She likes to paint. That's great. That's great. That's the other cool thing about acrylics is you don't want to work in like a room that's super stuffy, but since it's just water cleanup, you don't have to worry about using harsh solvents like you would with oil color. So just water thins the color and cleans the brushes, and so it's great for most ages. Certainly, people who later in life who might be not want to have to deal with oil color. First 2 or 3 I'll need to keep. Yeah. All right. 2 or 3. Yeah, you can make a whole forest of them for sure. So
real quick, once again, you guys, if you get a chance to fill out that survey tomorrow, that would be super appreciated. I think Marla will be back, I think in January because of the holidays. There's, we only have a couple of classes with, I think with Windsor. So yeah, everybody enjoy the holiday. And again, let us know if there's something you'd like to see when you get that survey tomorrow. So thanks everybody for joining us. And thank you, Marla and Michaels.
Yeah, thanks, Colleen. Thanks, Alicia. Thanks, Michaels. It was great. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you later. See you later.